Everything you need to know about hunger and specifically the saturation effect. Hey guys, it's Chad. Today we are headed to our mailbox to answer some questions. This question says, "Hi OMG Chad, I've been wondering what the saturation effect is for. I tried it and nothing happened. Does it do anything?" From Miguel, the one you met at Mine Fair. Fantastic seeing you at Mine Fair. Well, if you use the slash effect player and saturation and give them some saturation, that is correct. You will not see anything happen on the surface, but behind the scenes, there's a whole lot going on. But to understand what's going on, you need to understand what saturation is. So let's jump into that.
So here we are inside of Minecraft, and I have a mod installed to help me explain all of the various things that are associated with hunger, and specifically to answer the question, saturation. So there's really a few different things in play. There's really 4 different things in play when it comes to your hunger system in Minecraft. You probably know the most obvious one, which is food level, which is the amount of food bars that are filled. I like to call them haunches. You have 20 points of this food level and 10 little haunches. So each haunch can go down a half, and you've probably seen that in Minecraft. There's another part to this, which is why the question is being asked, which is what is saturation? Saturation is basically a secondary food bar behind your current food bar, and that's there. It's basically, you could think of it as you really have, instead of just the 20 points of food that are shown, you really actually have 40 points of food, but it only displays the last 20 of them. And saturation is what we call the first 20. Or you could think of it as a hidden 20 number of food points. That will allow you to be fuller for longer, which means that that you won't automatically start to become hungry the moment that you start to move. It almost acts as a full belly of sorts for you to use. Now, you shouldn't think of this as exactly 40 food points that are just behind or that are just maybe tacked on to the front of these other food points, because saturation does work differently than your normal food bar, and different foods have different amounts of saturation. So you might be eating a food that doesn't give you very much saturation, or you may be eating a food that gives you a lot. You've probably noticed in Minecraft that foods like say steak keep you full for longer than foods like carrots or raw potatoes, say. And that is because different foods will give you more saturation on top of filling you up with the normal food. You can also see a weird little bar in the background that keeps filling up, especially as I'm moving. You can really see it easily on the sand. If I stop moving, it stops filling up. And if I move a little bit more, it will reset all the way back down. If you'll notice, when it resets back down, it takes half of a haunch of the saturation level away. That is the food exhaustion level. Basically, you have 4 points that gradually increase with the type of activity that you're doing. So if you're sprinting and jumping, that will fill up your food exhaustion pretty quickly. Once it reaches that 4-point threshold, then it resets and takes away some of your saturation. Or if you don't have any saturation around, it'll start to take off your food points. So I've just ran out of saturation because I was running around in circles. And as you can see, my hunger bar will start to kind of move and fluctuate. Now, I'm not actually losing any hunger right now. This is just letting me know. This is one of the ways that the game lets me know that I am out of saturation and that I am now working on the food bar instead of the saturation bar. If you're normally in Minecraft and don't have the mods that I have installed, this is the only way that you can know that you are at now 0 saturation, is when the food bar starts to twitch like that. If I do some type of activity which will increase my my exhaustion level, then once it hits that top threshold, then one of the food bar will be removed. I'm going to use a command to really give myself a ton of hunger so I can really get down here. And you can see that this mod will let me see that how much food and how much saturation will be restored. I'm going to let this go down one little bit so we can get that out of the way. There you go. So right here, if I'm normally at 3 food left, if I roll over this bread, it'll show me that I'm going to get 2.5 bars of food, and it looks like 3 saturation. If I hover over the carrot, it looks like it's going to give me 1.5 and also 1.5, maybe more of saturation. If I hover over the steak, it's going to give me a ton of food and a ton of saturation. You can never have more saturation than you have food bars. So your saturation will always max out. But let's say that you did have you weren't as hungry as I am right now, and you ate something, you could have less saturation than your hunger. Some things, like cake, for instance, will restore much less saturation than the food it restores. So you can see that I'm getting 1 food bar, but I'm not even getting a full saturation point out of this cake that I'm eating. So you're going to become hungry really, really fast with cake compared to something like the steak, which gives you a lot of saturation for the amount of food. And there's some things that give you more saturation than the amount of food that they restore. Golden carrots are the best example of this. They will give you 6 food points or 3 haunches of food, but they will give you 14.4 saturation points or a little over 7. So while they're only restoring 3 haunches of food, they're restoring 7 haunches of saturation in the background. And remember, you can only have a maximum of 20 points of saturation, which means that if you get below 3 haunches of food or say, what was that? 7 food points, that means that you can eat 2 carrots and you'll be absolutely full on saturation, which means that you are the fullest that you will ever be with just 2 golden carrots. Golden carrots are kind of unique in this. The only other things that are better are cooked mutton and pork chops and that sort of thing. They will also give a lot of saturation for the amount of food that they also bring back. Just to show this off, we are now hungry. If I eat 1 carrot and 2 carrots, there we go, full saturation and full food. Now, what are the things that affect that exhaustion level down there that keeps running our saturation out? Well, swimming, that will increase your exhaustion level. Breaking a block, sprinting, jumping, attacking an enemy, taking damage that is normally protected by armor, and then, of course, the hunger status effect. So I keep affecting myself with hunger or getting that from eating something poisonous. Also, regenerating health is a quick determinator. If I give myself instant damage here, there we go. You can see that my saturation in the background goes down significantly because I am regenerating health. And then, of course, the hunger effects that are also gotten from different types of food, like eating raw chicken, rotten flesh, or from getting hit by husks. Or, of course, the puffer fish will give you hunger 3. It's not very good. On top of that, you're taking damage from the poison, which will also really, really affect your hunger. We can try to fight this with the golden carrot. It's like I'm dancing.
So the long-winded way of answering your question is that when you use the slash effect, player saturation effect, you are giving yourself some saturation in the background, which will make you full and fill up your hunger. You can also give yourself saturation even when your food bar is low, which is nice to know. Thanks so much for writing in, Miguel. Also, thank you for watching this episode of OMG Craft. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe for future tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. And we'll see you next time on OMG Craft. Bye.